Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Performance E Streaming. We are back live tonight with the ANZCAR Cup. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson Withy. Joining me up here in the booth, I have Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Looking forward to this track tonight. A little bit of a technical one. A few little things that they need to keep an eye out for tonight. And 8 of them are the right-hand turns. But pit entry is going to be very interesting to get into tonight too, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very hazardous track. We're starting a little bit early to talk you through that track a little bit in a couple of moments, but we also have Mr. Matthew Hunter. Matt, how are you going, mate?
Going good, thank you. Yep, looking forward to this one.
It's going to be an interesting one here at Chicago. First running Streets of Chicago for the Cup, coming up soon in real life, but here tonight for the ANZCAR Cup, round 18 of 36. Looking at track temperatures of around about 31 degrees Celsius, 27 degrees in the air tonight, with a little bit of wind here in the windy city of Chicago. What we'll do quickly is we're just going to jump on board somebody and just get a bit of an idea of this lap layout, because it's a very tricky place to get through indeed. Here with Joshua Carroll Walden, as we're going down towards turn 17. Just at the back end of the track, there's this little curve through the East Congress Plaza Drive. Very fast left, sort of sweeping left-hander that has a sharp right coming down towards the end. 12 corners here tonight at Chicago Street Circuit. So here we are coming up East Jackson Drive, and we're going to get onto the start-finish straight of South Columbus Drive any moment now. You can see pit entry just on your right. It's a very, very tight entry down the front straight we go, getting up to a top speed here. Down to turn number 1, we come left-hander, very sharp, very tight left-handed, down on East Balboa Drive, up to turn number 2, turning onto South Lakeshore Drive. This is a fast section of the track with a little kink of turn 3. This is probably going to be the fastest section of the track for anybody tonight, getting up to around about 225, 230 kilometers per hour as you break down into turn 14 and turn 4 and then turn 5 finally, getting yourself back on South Columbus. A short squirt of gas towards turn number 6, which is another sharp left-hander. It gets very, very tight here very, very quickly. You need to take a little bit of the right-hand side to get yourself into this corner. Down East Balboa Drive once more over this big hump through turn number 7 on to Congress Plaza Drive. Once more you come, and we're back into that sweeping long left-hander. You turn right, get onto the left-hander, get up to speed, let off the gas because it is very bumpy here. Turning back to the right, little short corner, and then it is that tight turn number 11 again on to the quick squirt down East Jackson Drive. Over the big hill you go. You can see Stevie Dub just in front of us here, and it gets very, very congested. There's a little bit of contact there, and spins him around. Expect a little bit of that tonight, and onto the start-finish straight we come once more. That's a lap of Chicago Street Circuit.
Yeah, they can keep it to themselves, mate. As I said, there's 8 issues as far as I'm concerned, and they all turn right.
It's going to be a tricky one tonight. The first couple of laps are going to be hazardous here tonight. Cold tyres are the worst things on this track, as we get a nice view of Chicago there. So we'll be starting up with the starting grid in just a couple of moments, as we just quickly will go through. We are up and ready to go. So starting on pole position 2, not too much surprise, is Mr. Andrew Dyson of DPR. He's got Neil Pearson on his outside. Expect the DPR cars to go strong here tonight. We know they're quick on the street circuits. It's Ruben Phelps with Lachlan Urquio making an SRM second row tonight. Jai Schultz is next to Dave Douglas on row number 3. Row 4 sees Daryl Hockey and Daniel Hederscheid lining up next to each other. Maddie Ray, Tristan Koch make up our 5th row tonight. Christopher Tomlin, Kobe Jordan makes up an inside lane's 6th row tonight. Brad Fenley with Craig Rothey out there making a very green 7th row. Row number 8 sees Joshua Carroll Walden next to Brenton Henderson. Stevie Dubb will line up next to Riley Curtis on row number 9. And row 10, reserved for the bad boys, both of them getting an end-of-line start for tonight. It's Toby Stent and Ryan Jones. What can they do in this race, starting from the back?
I think all they have to do, Carl, is survive the first 2 turns, and they'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, it's going to be really crucial. You see Dyson there. He's actually aggressively trying to get some heat in the tyres already. Doing the old swervy left and right. He's going to be dragging the brakes as well. He definitely wants to get the heat in the tyres early so he can get into that first corner without trouble. One thing that's really tricky about this place is on the pacing lap, it gets very tight for the cars behind. Going through these corners, there are a couple of really, really tight turns here with very little runoff to the sides of them. And that can be a problem for some of these cars because they can really close up and sort of find themselves caught up next to each other, struggling a little bit.
Yeah, we can see the 2 different ways these front 2, Dyson and Pearson, getting heat in their tyres. Dyson's trying to get heat. Pearson's really coming up to that last turn, just jumping on the brakes, really putting some pressure in through the brakes, trying to get some brake heat and transfer that heat out into the tyres.
Yeah, it's trying to get the surface temperature up and the carcass temperature, slightly different areas of the tyre. The surface is where you're really doing that weaving. That's going to help build a little bit of surface temperature up. When you're holding the brakes, running the brake, that's going to get the carcass, the inside part of the tyre, up to temperature. You need both of those sections up to a good starting temperature here. And it's going to be tricky in these tyres because they can be a little bit tricky to get sort of right up to temperature. It's going to take a good 2 to 3 laps before we start seeing everybody comfortable on this track. Watch for people locking up as well into turn 1 because the tyres are cold. This is a section where it gets super tight. Look at the cars trying to squeeze through there. I think everybody's just about making it through, but it is just such a tight little section. You always have to go single file to actually make it through this part of the track. So we are coming up to the start-finish straight now to go green for the first time here tonight. 50 laps at Chicago. Probably expecting people to come in around at lap 25 or 30 for fuel. So we'll see what people decide to do. Some people might come in a little bit earlier, just trying to get some clean air to run in as well. That could be crucial for tonight's race. Pace car is in. We're going to go green for the first time here at the streets of Chicago. It is the ANZCAR Cup, and away we go. And we already have a bit of a traffic jam in turn 1 as people just getting their way through. It looks like everybody's just about made it through though, which is good news indeed. But it was a slow start down the pack. Up front, they're able to get away nice and clean, while everybody at the back gets really caught up in those corners.
Also, Carl, I've just gone back and had a look. Both Kobe Jordan in the 080 and Christopher Tomlin in the 212 started from pit lane.
Not a bad decision in all honesty, because there could have been an almighty wreck in the first couple of corners, and just having a little bit of breathing room could be the crucial bit. We're going to see how this one runs through. Ryan Jones is flying through the field at the moment. He has made his way up into P12 from the back of the grid. He is absolutely siving his way through the field in these early stages. So is Toby Stent. He's managed to get himself up about 4 positions in the opening laps here. It's a very, very tight circuit that is very tricky to pass on. So I think a lot of those opening moves were done into the first couple of corners where people were just having to brake a little bit early, taking it cautious. But it is Andrew Dyson in the lead. Neil Pearson second. Lachlan Oakville in third at the moment, as everybody is getting through. And it looks like we've managed to make it through without any major incidents, Mark.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised at that. I was sure that in the turn 1 there, we may have seen someone get turned around. Not because they're racing dirty, but just because of how close the cars actually get.
Yeah, as I said, it's a very tight course, this one. So, I'm not disparaging to anybody's skill out there, but I was expecting to see somebody just snatch the brakes and maybe have a bit of an incident, but they all got through there cleanly. I think everybody was thinking the same as me. They just took it a little bit easier than they might have possibly wanted to, but that avoided any big early incidents. Great driving from the 20-strong field here tonight at Chicago.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we can see how strong Dyson's going to be. He's already managed to get a gap on his teammate in that 62 car of 2 seconds now. So Dyson's out, and he's got his Red Bull wings on.
Let's expect the lap times to drop here, though. Once those tyres are fully up to temperature, we're doing about 133s at the moment. You could see them drop to as low as 128, as it does indeed. It drops to a 127.5 for Andrew Dyson there. Just absolutely flying away up the front of the field as these tyres are starting to get to temperature. Little bit of a moment there for Ruben Fox, just got a little bit loose, and then the car in front of him, Jai Schultz, has a little bit of a lock-up as well. Something we're going to see here tonight is just a few little lock-ups. This place is so bumpy, Mark. As soon as you get on the brakes, the wheel gets unloaded, and it's so easy to lock up one of those tyres.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm just watching Jai Schultz at the moment run through the back section, and the bumps that are coming into the corner, you can really see how unsettling it is on that car. And I don't know, Matt, if I know we haven't got the camera views that we normally, but if people watch the rear brake discs on these things, they are already red hot after 3 laps.
Yeah, they are going to have sort of the issue of brake overheating, which we don't really talk too much about on these cars. They run steel brakes, of course, but they're going to get very hot as this race goes on, and that's going to give a little bit of brake fade as the race goes on. So we're going to see some cars just struggling a little bit in the latter stages as the brakes get too hot, start to not feel as good as they did early on. Not going to snatch quite as much, you're not going to lock up wheels so much with that, but you're going to find it takes a little bit longer in the braking zones just to get the car stopped. Up front, Dyson at 127.0. He has almost got it down into the 26s as Daryl Hockey just runs a little bit wide. That gives the opportunity to Daniel Hederscheid there. Tries to make the move. Great driving from Hockey. He just keeps the position safe.
And we see there, Hederscheid, as he gets on the gas, the backs really want to step out on him. You can see there the bumps.
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it, in these cars? It's not just the braking, it's when you put your foot down as well. In really bumpy sections, the wheels just want to light up and spin away, and that causes a big slide as we see Hederscheid getting loose, and this has given Craig Roffey the opportunity up in to turn number 7. They get through side by side, but Hederscheid just keeps his car ahead as they come up turn 8, 9 and 10. Great driving.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Carl. That was some great driving between those two. Could have quite easily touched, and you can see there again how rough that section of track is around that fountain.
Yeah, it is really bumpy here. Of course, it's the scan was taken a few years back, so they're sort of not sure if it's going to be just as bumpy when the real life cars come, or if it's going to be just the same as it is now. But it is definitely one of those street courses that just has a huge amount of bumps in them. Just saw Lachlan Akpia there. He's having a bit of a lonely race at the moment. Andrew Dyson, though, he has pulled out a huge gap up the front, almost 5 seconds. So the top 3 are pulling away nicely here. Dave Douglas currently sits in 4th position at the head of a rather long train, you got to say. Dave Douglas doing his best Jarno Trulli impression. He's sitting in 4th at the moment, with Jai Schultz trying to make a move. As he does try to make that move down the inside, goes to 27, makes it through the corner. Will Dave get the switch back here? He's trying to get the switch back here, but he's going to be on the wrong side for the next set of corners, as Jai Schultz makes a very nice overtake there on the number 10.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that to your attention.
Oh, wreck happening. Daniel Hederscheid has gone around out of turn number 8, and he's trying to get it righted, just waiting for those cars to get past him. That's going to drop him right down the order. He's just got out in front of Riley Curtis there. Riley just having to put the brakes on. That just dropped Daniel Hederscheid down a good 7 odd spots. So we'll just see the replay here. He's just lit the tyres up a couple of times in the last lap, and I reckon he's overhit the rubber on those wheels, and it's really starting to struggle. So he has just lost a whole heap of positions, and he's coming in pit lane as well. So I see it gets a little bit loose. And
Looks like our replay might have taken us back a little
Yep.
bit too far. Let's see. We'll just keep following him here.
won't be too much longer. So coming in here, it's going to be over this bump, and then not this corner, but the next one is where the mistake happens for the 035, and I don't think there was any contact, but he just gets a little bit wide coming into the corner, lights it up, and then bang, into the wall he goes. Rothy just sneaks it through there, same as Matty Ray and Ryan Jones. All of those drivers just having to really take emergency actions because it's not the widest part of the track there. You can barely fit 2 cars side by side, but when one car's pointing in the wrong direction, it really hurts it. So big moment there for Daniel Hederscheid, and that's sort of taking him out of tonight's race, unfortunately. Good battle going on between Stevie Dubb, Brenton Henderson at the moment. The 2 green cars are fighting it out, and they were really, really close to each other, really battling hard through the streets of Chicago.
Yeah, I wonder if Daniel's ever had enough or got damage on that left rear when he clipped the wall. But I see Tristan Koch is dropping out as well. Let's have a look and see if anything's happened to Tristan.
I think it might have been a connectivity issue because he just dropped down on the timings and then he's just reappeared on my screen.
Perfect, yeah, he's back now.
So
I see an incident also for Brenton Henderson. Let's have a look at that and see if we can work out what happened there as well.
So Stevie Dubb just locking up in front of him, and these two are getting very racy with each other. So I wonder if there was a little bit of contact between the 2 cars, or if he just made a little slant on the wall. As you see, I think that's Christopher Tomlin just behind him, just gave the wall a little nibble.
I'm not seeing anything here. It was a 4X.
Oh, Stevie Dubb's just gone into the wall and caused the bottleneck. So I wasn't not sure which corner it was, mate.
We'll go have a look at that one if we can.
So let's see here with Stevie Dubb. It was just coming out of turn number 7. Similar place to where Daniel Hederscheid had that incident. Just a corner before. He's locked up and big damage on the front of the 98. So we'll see it coming up in the very near future here. And that's going to bring Stevie Dubb into pit lane as well. He's going to have to get some repairs done to the 98. So it's catching a few people out here tonight. This place is really, really bad if you make those little mistakes.
Yeah, it's a very unforgiving track. That's certain.
Must be for this type art through here.
Yeah. So it's coming up right now into this corner. He tries to get in, locks it up, bang, into the wall, and then Brenton Henderson right up behind him. Christopher Tomlin just sneaks it through. So good job from Tomlin and Kobe Jordan. They just got on the brakes at the right point and just snuck it through there. So yeah, it really is unforgiving if you make a mistake.
Just a lock up into the wall there, and Henderson nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's absolutely zero runoff here as well. It is just wall all the way around you. It's a bit of a concrete jungle, you got to say.
Yeah, it's a very, as we've said, and I'll say it again, it's very unforgiving. One slight mistake, and you are going to pay dearly for it.
As there's a move going on from Daryl Hockey and Craig Roffey, as Craig Roffey makes up a position on Hockey there and gets through. So there's been a few overtakes actually. I was expecting there to be. I was expecting it to be very tricky to overtake here, but people are making it work tonight.
Yeah, there's some very opportunistic moves in some parts, but guys I'm tuned into the race radio and the team channels, and some of them have been very, very courteous to the other guys.
Yeah, I think a few drivers are just not pushing as hard as they know who they're racing, so they're not pushing some of the places as hard as they need to. But you can see right behind Maddie Ray at the moment, we've got Ryan Jones and Toby Stent. Both of these drivers are pushing hard to make up positions after having to start from the back of the field. Jones up 10 places, Stent up 8 places. So they have moved their way right up the field at the moment, and done a great job of getting their way up there. As Toby Stent going into the first corner, just makes it through. He had enough runoff there just to get the car turned in. Had to just modulate the brakes a little bit just to get himself through that corner, but he just makes it through.
Yeah, you could see what you were talking about there, Carl, pre-race, where they have to get right out against that pit lane wall to make that first left-hander in turn 1. And you can see a few of them just breaking that pit lane wall.
Yeah, you've got to get so close to the walls here just to even get the car through the corner. You don't have a huge amount of steering lock on these things, so you've really got to get it turned in the right spot. Otherwise, you can't actually make it through the corner, and then you have to do the old Austin Powers 900-point turn to actually get it through.
Matt, just jump up to Ruben and Dave Douglas, because that battle there is heating up. Dave's leading that group, but Craig Roffey is giving a few love taps to Ruben Phelps in spots. So this is definitely heating up.
So
Same
Ruben's
side by
moved
side
up now, yeah.
This is Craig from Roffey on the inside. He makes it stick, and Dave. I think Dave was a little bit kind to him there.
Right. Dave's got the inside now, and Dave can get the move back on him this time round. Unlike Jai Schultz, he's got the position, as you see Maddie Ray behind as well, trying to make a move here as they're coming down towards turn number 6 here on South Columbus Drive. Side by side they go, and they make it through. Some really good racing that we're seeing here tonight, as Craig Roffey doesn't make the move stick on Dave Douglas. Dave gets him back. Maddie Ray gets past Hockey, and Ryan Jones decided it's time to move with Toby Stent. It's going to get tight through this section as they make it through. Hockey just gives the wall a little bit of a glance there. There is really not enough room to side by side it here. Hockey is still defending against Toby Stent, but they make it through the corner again, just about. There is barely enough room to get a Formula Ford through here, but they're managing to get NASCAR Cup vehicles through side by side. Great driving as we see Toby Stent moving up a position, as well as Ryan Jones.
I can tell you, Ruben has been absolutely checked out from this battle once he got past Dave Douglas. He's now, as you can see, him coming into turn 1, and the guys coming across the start finish line. So Ruben is on a hurry up too.
Yeah, Ruben's got some good pace as Roffey's looking to go down the inside of Dave Douglas again. Little lock up for Roffey, but he gets the car turned in. It's a drag race down the long, the slightly bent straight we come down South Lakeshore Drive, as Roffey makes the move on Douglas into this tight corner. He locks it up, but he just keeps it ahead here noses through. Great overtake. Again, we're seeing some really good action here. It might not be a street circuit that is, well, it's not the most interesting looking street circuit, but it's given us some great racing tonight, which has caught me by surprise.
Yeah, we were talking pre-race, and we were thinking that how boring this was going to be, but it's definitely turning on some excitement. Like this group here is really trying to show us their street circuit talent.
Absolutely, and look, for the NASCAR community, these real tight street circuits are not something we're used to. It's the road courses we tend to go to tend to have some nice big wide open runoff areas, so there's not really many closed tight street circuits that you tend to go on with a cup car. But we're seeing some great action here tonight from everybody, and as I say, everybody's sort of making it through relatively well. We have lost Stevie Dubb and Daniel Hederscheid from this race. We saw both of those cars getting some big damage after just getting it a little bit wrong here tonight. It just shows that this place can bite. We're 13 laps in, 37 laps remaining here tonight. It's still up the front, Andrew Dyson, to sort of not too much surprise, I'm sure, for the audience. He is absolutely gunning it along at the moment. Fastest car on track by some margin, about a second a lap faster than his teammate Neil Pearson, which is impressive stuff from Dyson. Fastest lap of 125.8. Very, very quick indeed. Neil Pearson sitting in second. He's having a bit of a lonely race there, and he's got Lachlan Urquio behind him, who again is sort of in sort of no man's land. He's got a big gap between himself and Jai Schultz. So the top three are sitting relatively pretty at the moment, but we could see that all change with pit stops for fuel coming. And I wonder if anybody's going to take a gamble on some tyres here tonight. As Lockie gets a little bit sideways there, but keeps the car in the right direction in the SRM Mobile Brake Mechanical entry there for the 42 of Lachlan Urquio.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because a lot of the guys would have done some testing here through the week, knowing that we were coming here. But I haven't heard back from any of my spies about tyre wear tonight.
I honestly, I don't think there's much tyre wear at all, really. I don't think that's going to be a drop-off point whatsoever. I think tyre heat might play a little bit into the into how it runs out, but tyre wear itself is not that much of an issue. So you might see people sticking it out, sort of, double stinting the tyres. And we have seen in the past, if you go for those fresh tyres, it sometimes loses your time because you've got to get them back up to temperature again. And that can be a really tricky thing to do in this modern cup car.
Yeah, definitely. I think we might have to put a call out to iRacing to be able to change just the two rears.
As we see Dave Douglas again playing the old Trulli role. It's like a bit like Monaco with Trulli and Coulthard, watching that battle from years ago. But Dave Douglas having a good run at the moment in the 10. He's got Matty Ray behind him. Matty Ray has been doing great work on the road courses recently, and he's having a good run tonight on this straight course, sitting back in 8th position at the moment, really putting the pressure on Dave. He's got Ryan Jones and Toby Stent behind him, so there's a couple of very hungry cars sitting back behind there as well. And I saw a couple of moments ago Ryan putting his nose up as Matty Ray decides he's going to put the nose up for a bit of a look on Dave Douglas, makes the move into turn 1, gets that one done and gets himself ahead as Toby Stent jumps on Ryan Jones just behind and makes the move as well. Really good racing here in the mid-pack at the moment. We're seeing some great battles.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just wondering if Toby and Jones are starting to trying to work together, because you can see Jones probably holding Stent up just that little bit. So keep an eye out for Stent to really take a challenge up to Douglas and try and pull Jones along with him.
Yeah, they're going great guns at the moment. As I say, they've worked their way from the back of this pack as Toby Stent makes the move on Dave Douglas here. Really tight section, and Ryan Jones tries to make the move as well. He doesn't quite make it stick. Didn't have the car didn't have the nose up the inside of Douglas there, but they, again, battling it out here. And you can see Dave is just struggling a little bit for speed by the looks of it. And I think it's because he's having to drive in his mirrors constantly. You can see how much time he sort of lost to Maddie Ray. And same with Toby Stent, just pulling away a little bit here. And sort of making their way forwards. And Dave, because he's been having to drive with looking in his mirrors constantly, I'm losing a little bit of pace here. Yeah. So I'm sure he'll be glad when he has no cars right behind him and he can get back to work. Meanwhile, Ruben Phelps is all over the back of Jai Schultz. Battle for fourth position in the race. As we see there, Ruben has also got Craig Roffey right behind him too. This battle is sort of continuing on as well as Ryan Jones makes the move on Douglas.
And this one with Phelps and Roffey is going to be a 5 car, because you look in the background there, Matty Ray is closing in on these 3 cars.
Yeah, closing that gap up quickly, and it's great to see, as I think Brad Fenley has gone down a lap, so we are starting to get some lapped cars coming into the mix for the leader, Dyson, so he's finally getting to see some other cars on track. I imagine he'd been driving around for the first 16 or so laps thinking there was nobody out there, as Ruben Phelps right by the side of Jai Schultz there, doesn't get the car turned enough to make it through. He's taking a tighter line, trying to go up the inside here. This is probably his best opportunity down towards turn 1. He's going to go late on the brakes, try and get down the inside of Jai Schultz here. Who's going to be the latest to brake? Ruben Phelps does a nice job of braking late, pushes Jai out wide, and that gives Craig Roffey the opportunity to go too. Brilliant driving there by those 2 drivers. Jai Schultz got robbed a little bit, you got to say, by being pushed offline. Not 1 spot, but 2 spots there. Now he has to get back on track, back onto the action, as Craig Roffey's thinking, well, got past Jai, I might as well see if I can get past Ruben right now.
Yeah, definitely, and this is a great battle. Jai hasn't given up. He's trying to come back at Roffey there. You can see him trying to get up the inside again. But again, in the background, we see Matty Ray, Toby Stent and Ryan Jones going to be joining this group again very, very soon.
And I wonder, these drivers in this bit of a group here, once they get to a point where they can make it home on fuel from a pit stop, might be worth just pulling in a little bit earlier, because you're going to get some really clean air, and you could really take advantage of the undercut by just running in clean air tonight. It could be a great advantage. If you're caught up behind some of these cars that are going just a tad slow because they're having to defend a lot more, you could really gain some positions by coming in a couple of laps before your rivals and jumping in the pit lane.
Yeah, definitely.
Just going to jump back and check an incident that popped up for Neil Pearson.
Okay.
Maybe a bit of contact with the wall.
So, 62. We'll find out what's happening here.
So the replay's taking us miles back.
I gotta love it when things like that happen.
I did notice on the live shot that there was a little bit of damage on the left front of his car, but it's not there at the moment. Oh, there we are.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of bit of damage there. That was a big whack on the left rear as well. That is going to cause some damage to that car. And, well, I wonder how much that's going to affect his pace in this race. That was a huge snap from nowhere.
Yeah, that's just under brakes. It just snapped loose there, Tokyo Drift style.
Just get the polish out and polish it out. She'll be right, mate.
See if we can get another view of it.
Bit of cut and polish, she'll be fine.
Yep.
Just over that bump, he's just got a little bit too hot there. And bang.
That's a solid hit. Whew. Be interesting to see if the car keeps going and something on it doesn't break later on in the race from that.
Yeah, it could really affect it. And it could be something that sort of just keeps getting worse and worse. If you hit it again, it could just keep snowballing. So We'll keep an eye on that one, as I'm sure Lachlan Oakio is just going, yep, please, Neil, just do a couple more of those, please, and that would be grand. Maybe Daiso, if you have a big smack in the wall as well, that would be great. Because it could gain him a couple of good spots here. Rest of the field starting to sort of, I'd say they're settling down a little bit, but that's just because they're closing the gaps in. You can see Ruben Phelps got a little bit of a gap over Craig Rothie now, as Rothie just had a little bit of a break snatch. But you can see behind him, Toby Stent is putting pressure on Matty Ray, who's putting pressure on Jai Schultz. And this is the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th in this race.
It's good to see Riley Curtis in 13 still going around. Looks like he might have a bit of a crinkle in the front of that car though.
I think that came from when, I think it might have been Stevie Dubb or Daniel Hederscheid when they're rejoining the track. I think he made a little tiny bit of contact with them.
Yeah.
So
I believe it was with Daniel.
Got another possible incident to look at, maybe?
yeah, Kobe just had a big moment in the 080. Just heard over the radio that he had a good save, so
Yeah, it's already a bit of damage on the front of this car in this replay. Yeah. We might have to go back to the other one. Try this one instead. It just flagged a couple incidents. Yeah, the car looks a bit straighter in this one, I think.
we'll see what's happening here for the Inside Lane Productions car of Kobe Jordan. As a little bit further down the field, we're talking about Riley Curtis. He just made up a position on Joshua Carroll-Walden, who had a bit of a lock-up going into one of the corners. That cost him. Meanwhile, Matty Ray has just got past Jai Schultz. We might want to go to live action now because this battle is really heating up as Toby Stent goes down the inside. They make contact coming up towards East Congress Plaza. Matty Ray holds on to position there by the narrowest of margins.
That was some great driving because there was a touch there and that could have put Matty Ray around.
Watch this as they go. Matty Ray squeezes Toby right down the inside. Has to turn it to the other side just to get the car turned in. Makes the corner nicely there. Brilliant driving. Real close stuff. That's some proper door-to-door action. That is stock car racing all over. Great racing between those two. As Toby's looking to make the move up Matty Ray again.
Yeah, it definitely is. And this has been carrying on for a couple of laps now. They've been able to get past Jai, and now they're going to battle each other. And Kobe's really starting to lock that unloaded front up tyre up on both the left and right.
Yeah, I wasn't able to see what the incident with Kobe, so yeah, but there was definitely damage on I think the right front of his car. And I did see Andrew Dyson looming up behind him, so he might have had an incident in front of Dyson.
Ryan Jones is now getting the pass on Jai Schultz.
Nice pass there by Jones, and it makes it look easy in that respect, as Jai's just lost a little bit of pace in this stage of the race, and I wonder if he's struggling a tiny bit there. So just looking at lap times, and Neil Pearson's brush with the wall hasn't cost him too much. He's still in the 26s at the moment. He is flying, and I reckon the reason Neil Pearson had that moment is because he's really pushing that car to the limits. So he is absolutely on the ragged edge in that car, trying to make up the 23 second gap, or 24 second gap, I should say, on Andrew Dyson. So that is Dyson just absolutely flew away in those early stages. Neil Pearson trying to close it up a little bit. 22 laps in, 28 laps remaining here at Chicago Street Circuit. And, well, we are seeing some great racing here tonight.
Yeah, definitely is. Definitely are. And this battle between Stent and Raymond is still going hard. They haven't eased up on each other. Matty Ray's a little bit stronger through certain parts of the track, and then Stent closes right back up on him and really pushes him through other parts. So it's only going to take a slight lapse of concentration for one of these guys, and it could all end in tears.
You've got to be absolutely millimetre perfect around here, and we've seen that tonight people have been doing a great job of doing that, but this is where fatigue starts to set in a little bit. You've been racing a while, the car starts to get a little bit light now as well, as it's running lower on fuel. Changes the way it drives, and that could easily catch somebody out. But so far, we've only had 2 people caught out by the Windy City, Stevie Dubb and Daniel Hedderscheid. Everybody else doing a really strong job here tonight as we move into almost to half race distance. You can see this fight still going on. Toby Stent is trying lots of different lines, trying to distract Matty Ray as well, trying to get him to look in his mirrors. But Matty Ray is not falling for that trick. Meanwhile, up ahead, Craig Rothy is putting all the pressure he can on Matty Ray's teammate Ruben Phelps in the Mobile Braking Mechanical SRO machine. Got the Rogue Sim Sports car right on his tail at the moment with Craig Rothy, really trying to put that pressure on, trying to catch up to the back of Ruben Phelps and make that move stick. So I wonder who's going to be the first to blink for a pit stop here tonight to come in and get some fuel on board. I think that's going to be the interesting one, is who's the first to sort of make that decision.
Yeah, it's a kind of a hard one to pick, because I know the guys that are leading these battles won't want to give away the position. But then again, the guys behind them will be saying, well, do I duck in and try and get the undercut on him? And Toby Stent's having another at Raymond in the turn 1.
Yeah, they are really close now. The 83 and the 189 really battling hard. Toby Stent is putting all the pressure he can onto Mr. Sheen. Matty Ray just gets the tail a little bit loose there. Dave Douglas, Daryl Hockey, Riley Curtis all in pit lane. So pit stops are starting to happen now. But this fight is going on. And I think, there is that thing of you could possibly make the move in pit lane. I think at the moment, Toby Stent and Matty Ray are quite happy battling it out on track because they're enjoying this fight. Yeah,
It's been a great fight. Some great individual battles, like Phelps and Roffey, these two, Raymond and Stent. And even when Jones was up here earlier on with battling with Stent, it was another great battle.
Yeah, it's often the way is you sort of don't want to make the move in pit lane because you're just enjoying the fight on track a little bit. It's an odd thing for sim racing. Is we love going fast, but it's all about the fighting on track. That's where it really gets fun and exciting. And these drivers are doing a great job of that at the moment. We've seen some great action as Roffey and Stent are both into pit lane. So they've pulled the trigger now. They're going to see what they can do. Toby Stent is really putting the pressure on Craig Roffey down pit lane. He is almost going, go a little bit faster. I've got to get this one done. He's trying to get in every second he can in pit lane at the moment. As we say, it's a really hard pit entry here. It's a really tricky pit exit as well because you're coming out into traffic too. So when you're exiting pit lane, you've got to be careful not to come out and collect somebody. Dyson's decided to pull the trigger. He's coming into pit lane now too. So we are seeing pit stops happening. Who is going to try and take it as long as possible? We're going to find out in a few moments' time as we see Stent and Roffey both coming back onto the track.
Now, that's scary because Roffey and Stent are down in 9th and 10th, and Douglas is Dyson has almost caught them. So it's a bit scary there when now Dyson's been fueled and to the end of the race, and he's going to have a chance to catch these guys in the top 10.
I'm going to make the bold prediction that we're going to see him lap everybody up to maybe second. It's going to be, with his pace tonight, it's definitely possible. And we're just...
I'm sorry, mate. We got Phelps, Raymond, Jones, and Schultz in the pit lane now.
So just keeping an eye on Toby Stent on his outlap. He's going to want to try and jump Maddie Ray. Same is for Craig Rothie too. They are coming up now. They're just about into the start-finish straight. So just a couple more corners, and here they come. So very much getting there at the moment as Toby Stent's jumped Craig Rothie in pit lane. So Toby Stent had a stunning run down pit lane. Absolutely got ahead of Craig Rothie. Maddie Ray has lost a spot to Toby Stent. Toby Stent lightning through pit lane. That's what we were talking about. You can make so much time in pit lane, and Toby Stent has done that, just getting out so far ahead of Maddie Ray. He's jumped Craig Rothie and Ruben Phelps as well, by the looks of things. Ruben Phelps has been in pit lane for a long time.
He's just dropped out by the look of it. Right, he's back. He's having issues with connections because on the timing screen I'm seeing him. He's not in the timing screen, but he is still showing on my screen in pit lane.
That's a huge shame for Phelps. He was having a really good run up into that stage, and that has cost him a whole heap of positions. As we're getting back out on track, we see there with Daryl Hockey and Joshua Carroll Walden. Now they've got Andrew Dyson just behind them, coming up to put them a lap down. So we are running through the field now. Just looking at the pit lane time, Toby Stent through pit lane, 38.9. Maddie Ray, 38.6. But stationary time, 12.4 for Stent, 13.1 for Maddie Ray. That's where Stent gained a lot of time. I reckon he gained a lot of time coming into pit lane. He was really late getting on the limiter, and it really gave him a nice jump. So we're just wait for everybody just to get back and get back into normality, and wait for the race to settle down a tiny bit. See Riley Curtis there. He's having a fairly decent run up in P14. Brad Fenley has decided to pull it into pit lane now. He's the last car to come down pit lane. So everybody has made their stop for fuel. So this has really opened up the field as well. Riley Curtis coming in for a stop as well. This is his third stop, so something's happened to Riley. Oh, Riley's got some damage. What's happened to Riley Curtis, I wonder?
Yep, I'm just seeing an incident here. I'm just going to go have a look at it and see if we can find anything.
Yeah. I wonder if the tire's gone on him. Because I don't... Oh, he's had a big moment coming into the corner.
Doesn't like it seem to play.
It's had a big moment coming into the corner and really damaged the right front of the car. So that is explaining that, because he's got the meatball flag as well. So he had some major damage to the car, unfortunately.
Oof. There we are. It was part of it.
So yeah, big moment for him. As just I was talking about the treachery of pit lane. driver that got caught out by that was Lachlan Urquio. He was actually getting past his teammate Brenton Henderson on the exit of pit lane, and he's caught the right front of the car. So not too much to that vehicle by the looks of things. The SRO machine is looking fairly good still, but you don't want to get damage on these cars because you can find it just makes it not work as well as it did in the past.
It's interesting to see a number of cars took a fuel only up near the front.
Yeah, I think the only car that I can really see, I think Tristan Koch might have just taken tyres with fuel. Everybody else, other than Craig Roffey maybe, I wonder if Craig Roffey took tyres as well, because he was stationary for a long old time in pit lane. I think he was getting a couple of repairs done, so he didn't take tyres by the looks of things. We've got a car in the wall there.
Ooh, that's Riley again.
That is Riley Curtis coming out with that repaired car just on the exit of the East Congress Plaza Drive turn number 9, coming into turn 10. Back end of that thing is just absolutely stepped around on the 093. The very pretty looking car with the fantastic performance e-streaming logo on it. But Riley's back end has just stepped out on him, and I wonder if that's to do with some of that damage. It's just not working as he expected it to.
Yeah, might just might not be tracking properly. Just not handling the corner.
Big moment for Riley there, and he's pulled it in. So we've lost from the race Daniel Hedershide, Stevie Dubb, Daryl Hockey, unfortunately Ruben Phelps, and I think we may see Riley Curtis added to that list tonight. 15 cars still remaining here at Chicago Street Circuit. It is round 18 of 36 here for the ANZCAR Cup on Performance E-Streaming. So quite a few wounded vehicles out here now. I'm sort of noticing quite a few cars that have got damage to them. One of them that doesn't have damage is this orange car of Andrew Dyson. That thing is looking absolutely pristine at the moment. Not making single contact with anything. Having a good run out there, keeping the car very clean at the moment, in the lead. Neil Pearson's in pit lane. Neil Pearson is in pit lane because he's got more damage. He's had a big moment. This is Neil Pearson having to come in for mandatory repairs after a big accident. Neil Pearson having a huge wreck coming into East Congress Plaza Drive. Right into the tyre barrier, has torn the right front off that car. He's going to be in for a lengthy repair job, and this is going to give Lachlan Urquio the chance to move up into second place in this race. Toby Stent starting at the back, moved up into third. We're just going to see here the replay of the 62 of Neil Pearson. Watch it coming into the corner. He's going to lock up and just goes that little bit wide.
It's the same spot as last time.
Same spot as last time, yeah. So just in this bit here, he's going to come into this corner. Back end steps out a little bit for him. I think it's this corner. No, it's further away, sorry. This track, there's too many bits that look the same. It throws me out. It threw me out when I was driving it the other day as well.
Yeah, and the replays are going way back. It's showing up the incident, and then you got to rewind, go to the incident, and it's going back like almost half a lap, even more. I think this might be it here, right?
No, it's the next corner. So coming up right here, this is where he makes the mistake. Coming into the corner, he gets on the bump, clips the wall on the
inside.
And that sends him to the tyre barrier on the outside, and a huge amount of damage. That was a costly mistake from Neil Pearson, and that has meant he's had to come in for repairs and get that car patched up to get it back out on track, and cost him a lot of positions. That's dropped Neil Pearson down into 6th position. He's just ahead of Ryan Jones behind Craig Roffey.
I can tell you he's back out there, and he's again clipped the wall almost in an identical spot again.
Oh, Oh dear, it's not going well for Neil Pearson tonight. As we saw the replays there, he's managed to keep it going this time, so got away with a little bit less damage by the looks of
Oh,
things. But I think he's
Respect.
going full attack mode now, and that might be what's really costing him. 18 laps remaining here tonight at Chicago. It's Andrew Dyson in the lead, Lachlan Urquio second, Toby Stent third, fourth for Matty Ray, Craig Rothie in fifth, Ryan Jones currently sitting in sixth, Jai Schultz seventh, eighth for Neil Pearson, Dave Douglas ninth, and Joshua Carroll Walden rounding out our top 10. I think Pearson's a bit angry with himself. He is throwing that thing around, isn't he?
Yeah. I think he's had enough. He's pretty, a very unusual mistake there. Just clipped that inside concrete wall and that just sent him out. That's the danger of street circuits, though. That is also one of the things about them. You momentary lapse of concentration, and you pay a big price for it.
Absolutely, it's a lot of concentration needed, and one of the issues that's going to be hassling Pearson now is he's had a couple of big slides in that car, and that's going to overheat the tyres. So it just makes it worse. It snowballs almost. It's just a constant issue in these things. They constantly get worse and worse and worse. And I think for the first time tonight, actually, the first time I've seen it in a long, long time, Andrew Dyson is not the fastest car on track. That belongs to Matty Ray at the moment. With a 27.3, he is now currently the fastest car on track at the moment. So good job from Matty Ray in the SRM mobile brake mechanical machine. He's sitting in fourth position at the moment and trying to chase down Toby Stent, who had that very good pit stop in front of him. But it does just show just how quickly a race can change from, looking good to looking bad. All it takes is that momentary lapse of concentration, and damage to these cars is not a fun thing. These things, they can take a fair big whack in certain areas, but others, they really struggle in.
Yeah, definitely. Just watching this gap close up between Matty Ray and Toby Stent. So it's going to be on here between these two again shortly.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the lap times to come through, but Matty Ray's taking some good pace at the moment and trying to close that gap on Toby Stent. And it'd be good to see that battle on, because that's the battle for the third step of the podium. So we'll keep our eyes on that one. I think there's only about 4 seconds is the gap at the moment between these two cars. And last couple of laps, Matty Ray's been about 4 tenths. About 4 tenths quicker, actually. So he's closing the gap for sure. So he is really trying to get that gap down to Toby Stent, who has had a fantastic run tonight. And say same for Ryan Jones, starting on the back of the grid after getting a penalty last time out, forced him right to the back of the grid tonight. But they've worked their way through up into the top 6. Ryan Jones sitting in 6th position, Toby Stent in 3rd. I've had to do it the hard way by passing a lot of cars tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy track to get past, as we've seen. But yeah, they've definitely made their own luck tonight.
Some good runs throughout the field tonight. Christopher Tomlin, of course, he started from pit lane. He's up in 12th position at the moment. As you can see, I think that's Jai Schultz just getting past him for lap position. He's trying to chase down Tristan Koch. He's having a solid run out there as well. Tristan Koch up in P11 at the moment, having a fairly decent run throughout the field. He's just sitting in behind Joshua Carroll Walden in 10th spot. who's been cruising along and just keeping at his own pace tonight, just keeping the car out of trouble. And it's one of the rare cars out there, I think, that hasn't made contact with the wall tonight. So just keeping a clean car is key for the number 35. Dave Douglas sitting in 9th position. We've seen him be at the heart of many battles tonight, giving us some great entertainment here. Dave has been keeping us entertained up in the booth, as usual, for Mr. DD. He's just chasing down Neil Pearson at the moment on a recovery drive after taking a hefty whack into the wall. Well, it was 2 hefty whacks, wasn't it? Quite a lot of damage on the 62 car. He's trying to chase down Jai Schultz in 7th. Those two battling it out. Neil Pearson trying to recover in this race, seeing what he can do to work his way through the field. As Ryan Jones just makes a move on Craig Rothie, and Rothie to make the move back. This is for 5th and 6th at the moment. This fight is also going to be quite entertaining as they battle their way through, and it's Ryan Jones who makes the move up ahead of Rothie and moves his way up into 5th position. Craig Rothie sitting in at 6th spot with Jai Schultz in 7th. Some really nice moves on the track tonight so far, as we see Dyson looming in behind these two cars to lap them.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on Matty Ray. He's just starting to touch the wall here and there. So it's fatigue is definitely starting to set in some of these guys.
That is it. His drinks glass might have run dry as well. You know, the old Matty Ray special sitting behind the sim rig. It just gets to that stage though. You get your mouth gets dry. You get achy in this situation as well, as see him lapping Christopher Tomlin. You get fatigue setting in different ways. Of course, you just get hot and thirsty and miserable when you're racing like this, because there's no respite apart from that little bit of moment where you're in pit lane.
Yeah, and really, you've got no straight or anything really where you can take your hands off the wheel and stretch your hands, and just ease your feet or stretch your legs. That's really you've got to concentrate right around this circuit.
Oh, big moment for Craig Rothie right in front of the leader Dyson there. Rothie tried to make a move on Ryan Jones, locked up the wheel, and Dyson just squeezed it through the gap. I think we're going to see the replay here of that moment. You can see the battle going on here. Rothie locks up right in front of the leader there and just gets it through. Dyson having Dyson luck moments, just squeezes it through there and sets sail now for Ryan Jones. He puts him a lap down and moves his way up the field. Ryan Jones still battling it out with Craig Rothie at the moment. These two are really fighting tooth and nail, and they're sort of very similar on pace range, and it's given us a very entertaining battle at the moment. And this is for 5th and 6th spot on the track. "12 laps to go here at Chicago, as the sun is starting to set. Those shadows are getting long, and well, we don't really talk about it too much, but a track like this, where you are really going for those braking zones, as the daytime starts to fade away, as the evening sets in, it does change the way the shadows lay, and it can really catch you out on a street track like this, because you sort of just lose a little bit of your view. As you see, Ryan Jones just locking up a little bit there, and that's going to give Rothie the opportunity now to make the move, as he's trying to go down the inside. Doesn't quite make it, as they're still fighting away here. But yeah, it's getting into that time of day, Mark, where the sun is getting low in the sky, and there's sort of shadows in a very different spot to where they were at the start of the day.
Yeah, definitely. And the shadows of the buildings too start to come into play. And as you said, Carl, it changes your braking marking just that little bit. Although it doesn't, you think it does, because you can't actually pick the spot on the track where you were braking.
Yeah, it's a very it's a tricky thing to explain if you've not really experienced it, but it's a bit like driving at this time of the year in Australia, you know, where the sun is low in the sky. It just gets a little bit glary, a little bit tricky to see sometimes. When you try and race in conditions like that, it makes it very hard indeed. So we see Roffey getting a good run onto the start-finish straight here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Roffey trying to make a run down the inside. He's looking to the right now. He's going to sweep down to the inside. Late on the brakes into turn one they go, and Roffey makes the position back on Ryan Jones. Very entertaining battle here for 5th and 6th. Great action on track, as we said, throughout this race. Right now, Jai Schultz has got Neil Pearson for company as well. Jai is glancing in his mirror and seeing a very angry, very red, very beaten up DPR car behind him, trying to make positions. We know Pearson's got some great pace in him tonight, but with that extra damage, it has slowed him down, dropped him a lot of positions as well. And Neil Pearson is having to get really racy here, trying to race back up into 7th position for this recovery drive.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for Neil. Just a couple of little mistakes, and those tyres just starting to go off, and it's really put him on the outer of the race tonight.
Couple of little mistakes creeping in, and you know, kind of happens sometimes when your teammate is that little bit quicker on a circuit, as I think may be the case tonight. Is Neil Pearson just trying to close that gap, trying to keep up with Dyson's pace, and it just caught him out a couple of times tonight, unfortunately. And we saw the outcome of that, and it was only 2 very tiny mistakes that caught it. Ryan Jones in pit lane. Ryan Jones has got some serious damage.
Just try and find that damage, the hit now.
So, oh yeah, it's going to be similar spot, just coming on to East Congress Plaza, just off of Balboa Drive. So
we'll fast forward a bit, so we don't have to sit and watch the whole lap, because it's taking us way too far back in the replay.
Where are we now? I'm trying to figure out. Again, I get lost around this track so easily. It should be coming up, not this corner, but the next corner. So just up here, Ryan Jones is going to go over this big hill, and then down the hill we go, and he locks up coming into this corner. And Craig Roffey did a similar thing. He locked up a little bit beforehand, and I think that might have just taken Jones's attention off a little bit and cost him just that little bit of concentration. And he has followed Roffey, and unfortunately not being able to get the car turned in. Heavy damage to the left front of that car has required him to come down pit lane, get some repairs. He is back out on track though. So Ryan Jones back out in 10th position, albeit with a very damaged car.
I can tell you one thing, Carl. As I go to say it, the gap just opened back out to 5 seconds. I was going to say, Matty Ray is actually closing in on Toby. So it's going to be interesting to see if Matty Ray can get to the back of Toby Stent for 3rd.
Yeah, only 8 laps to go, so he's going to have to really put the pedal to the metal to make that gap, or Toby Stent could make a mistake. That's going to be the key factor here for that final step of the podium. A little bit further back in the battle for 6th now between Jai Schultz and Neil Pearson. It's really on as Neil Pearson's trying to make a move down the inside here into turn 16 we go. Neil Pearson's going to be right late on the brakes, gets it turned in. Does it stick? Yes, it does. Pearson makes it through and makes it in, as Ryan Jones has had to come back in for some more repairs as Pearson locks up, but he makes it through the corner. And Neil Pearson makes his way up into 6th position.
So that confused me a lot coming out of that replay, because we were looking at Jones hitting the wall, and then I brought us back to the live, and there was another shot of Jones hitting the wall. identical to the one before, and I thought, oh no, something's gone wrong with the software. We're not back live, and we were live. It was actually Jones did the exact same thing, just at the exact same time.
Yes, it was just as that move was happening, I saw on the side of my screen Ryan Jones dropping down the field after coming into pit lane for some major repairs, and again making an identical mistake. Unfortunately, Dave Douglas, I think, has had a moment as well as he's in pit lane, in the number 10. I'm not seeing
Not
why,
seeing any
though.
damage, no. Not seeing any incidents flashed up on here. He might have maybe.
Can't see any reasoning for it, but maybe he's just short-filled it, so he needs to come in just for a tiny splash of fuel here, and that looks to be what happened, because that cost Dave a couple of positions there. He's still in 9th spot, but that's cost him at least 1 or 2 spots. So, yeah, so obviously just the fueler didn't do his job quite enough. That could be a sting in the tail for the rest of this race if a couple of cars have had that issue.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys that come through pit lane fairly quick, so we may end up seeing a few guys run out of fuel.
Yeah, well, we saw Toby Stent was right on the bubble. He was very quick through pit lane. Hopefully, he didn't short fill it and he can make it to the end, as Andrew Dyson has finally damaged the car. He's given the front a little bit of a rub. No major damage, but there's just a little bit of a scratch on the left front of that car. So it gives us a chance to show it again up in front. Gap of 1 minute 11 over Lachlan Urquio, who's doing a great job in second place at the moment, keeping himself on the second step of the podium tonight. And look, I'm sure he wouldn't be against Dyson making a big mistake and not finishing the race. I think Lachlan would be quite happy with a win here tonight.
Well, he's definitely driven like he's deserved it. So I know he'll be happy with a second place, even if he does only get to that spot and keeps that spot.
That's it. And well, he's having a great run in the season at the moment. He's currently the top scoring driver in the championship, of course, without a victory, but he is the highest scoring driver. And actually, those 3 spots are taken by SRM cars. It's been a fantastic season for the Mobile Brake and Mechanical team, because you've got Lachlan Urquio, Ruben Phelps, and Maddie Ray in 6th, 7th, and 8th in the championship, but 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the non-winners. So, you know, they are really doing a great job so far and have done a fantastic job of just keeping consistent points coming in. Really fantastic drive by them. And, well, we know Matty Ray is Mr. Consistency for points. He's doing a good job, but that whole team has done has had a fantastic effort so far this season to try and get themselves into the playoffs.
You need to stop talking about them, because Lockie almost locked up and crashed there. Commentator's curse.
Yeah, this is true. They've got no chance of making it through. They're not going to. They're useless. They're not going to finish tonight. That's it. Dyson's definitely winning tonight. There we go. There you go. So I'll try and negate it a little bit. But even the commentator's curse doesn't work on Dyson, does it?
No, it doesn't.
We've tried. We'll be absolutely eating our words if it does tonight. I will take full responsibility. Toby Stent sitting in 3rd. He's trying to close the gap to Lachlan. Only 4 laps to go. He could still do it. He is going great guns at the moment. He's about 4 tenths quicker at the moment. On the last lap, he was about 4 tenths up on Urquio. So he could well close that gap, and he is really, really chucking that car around and pushing it forwards. And Matty Ray's not too far off as well. Any mistake in these top 3 cars could see them dropping right back a position. Craig Roffey has gone down a lap now, as Dyson is closing the gap on this the final 3 cars that are currently out there, not a lap down. He is trying to close the gap on Matty Ray in 4th position to put him down a lap as well.
Yeah, and with a 127 or 128 lap time, Matty Ray is obviously only about 4 to 5 seconds up the road. 5 laps to go. Possible we could see the whole field lapped.
It is possible. It is absolutely possible, although Dyson's pace is not really up to the point where he could do it at the moment. Currently, fastest car on track is Toby Stent. I say that, and then all of a sudden Dyson's come live and got his way through there. As another car that might have been struck by connectivity issues is Joshua Carroll Walden. Real shame for him. He was running up in 8th position, I think, in up to that point, but he seems to have disappeared out of the universe. So a big shame for JCW in the 35.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we've seen a few of them tonight, and it's not a good thing for the boys. They won't be happy.
No, well, it's the closest you can get to a mechanical DNF from random failures, of course, is random internet failures. And unfortunately, that struck a couple of drivers tonight that were sitting in good positions as Lockie makes a big hit onto the wall again. Got to be careful of that, because all it takes is just hitting it in the wrong direction and you can find yourself needing to come down pit lane for some emergency repairs. But I think Lockie is he's really pushing hard now because there's 3 laps to go. You can see how close Stent is. Toby Stent is really closing up on the back of Lockie. About a second faster. That last lap was Toby Stent. The gap is less than a second as well. So Toby Stent is all over the back of Urquio now. And it's going to be... Lockie's just got to get his head down and just keep focused for these final few laps.
Yeah, Toby's about a second a lap faster the last couple of laps than Lockie, so I think Lockie's got it in the back of his mind. He knows that Stent's coming and might be trying to push a bit too hard, and that's why he's hitting the wall.
It's been a pretty lonely race for Lockie up until this point. He's been sort of sitting in this position for a long time without anybody around him, and they're coming up to Kobe Jordan now as Kobe gets out of the way nicely there.
They're pushing pretty hard. Both of them, both Lockie and Toby, had the cars sideways coming out of that corner, trying to get past Kobe.
Kobe he saw Lockie coming through, got out of the way nicely, didn't realise Toby was so close behind, I think, and it just caught him by surprise. But you can see this gap is really closing up. 3 laps remaining here tonight in the Windy City, the streets of Chicago here, as John Schultz and Neil Pearson are battling it out again on track, side by side with those 2 cars. Neil Pearson trying to keep Jai behind him, as Jai is desperately battling as they come up into the East Congress Plaza curve. And Jai Schultz tries to make the move, really putting the pressure on Pearson at the moment. And how great is it that we've got some really close battles on tracks with only 2 and a bit laps to go?
Yeah, we've got 2 really close battles here, one for 2nd and 3rd, and the one for 6th and 7th.
We'll keep our eyes on this 2nd and 3rd place as Toby Stent looks to try and make a run down the inside. He didn't have enough space to do it there. He was just trying to offset Urquio, trying to make him go offline, and Lockie did not take the bait. He kept the car planted. He is defending, but he catches the wall. This is going to give Toby Stent the opportunity to move it up into 2nd place as they come through the Congress Plaza Drive curve again. It's Toby Stent moving it up into 2nd position. Lachlan Urquio dropping down into 3rd. So it just looked like a little bit of contact with the wall for a 42 there. And that just gave a little bit of, just slowed the car down a little bit. And, you saw how bright those brakes were glowing as well on Urquio. And we were talking a little bit before about braking a little bit as well. I wonder if that might be what's happening. But it's Andrew Dyson who is on the final lap of this race now, as he is coming to try and find the flag, as my timing screen's gone a little bit mad. As I'm trying to figure out what's happening there. Everything's just flicking around in different spots. But we are coming up to the line, and it's going to be Andrew Dyson taking the checkered flag here at our first running here at Chicago. And, well, we were sort of a bit worried that the race would be a little bit dull, but it has not been at all. It's given us some great action here. We've still got the action on track as Neil Pearson and Jai Schultz are fighting it out for 6th and 7th on the track. They are still battling it out and going tooth and nail. So we'll keep our eyes on them in a moment, and I'll let Matt know when Dyson is just coming up to the start-finish line, which he will be now in the next corner. So Andrew Dyson, unless he makes the mother of all errors in this final corner, is going to take victory here tonight at Chicago and bring it home into victory lane. And keep an eye a little bit further behind. It's going to be Toby Stent looking like he's got second place wrapped up here tonight. But Lachlan Oakville is really pushing still. You see him just giving the wall a kiss. He is trying with all that he can muster to catch up to the back of that Atari car. Can't quite do it though, as they're getting towards the line. And it is going to be Toby Stent. He's just got a couple more corners to make it. Neil Pearson does beat Jai Schultz by the narrowest of margins as they get across the line with Craig Roffey in 5th. But the battle for second, third and 4th could still be on if a mistake is made in the final couple of corners here, as Toby Stent just has a few more meters of racetrack to go. He's getting around this section for the last time, and a drive from the back of the field to the front. It's been a very strong performance from Toby Stent tonight, as he's made up 17 spots here at Chicago officially. He did a lot of passing to get here though, so it is the hard way. And well, the top 4 made it without being lapped, so that's something.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a great race. You know, as you said, Carl, we thought we were going to come in here and it was going to be strung out, but this place has really turned on some great racing with these boys.
It has indeed. As I think Dyson did not do any victory burnouts, I think he absolutely ran out of fuel on that last little bit of lap. So, yeah, so they timed it to perfection. Toby Stent has just run out of fuel as well. He just made it to the line.
Yeah, just going to say that. The radio just lit up saying that he's run out of fuel as he crossed the line.
That close, as Dyson just made it around the first corner and then ran out of gas. So no burnouts tonight, unfortunately. So nobody able to give us any burnouts here tonight, as as fuel became a bit of an issue on that final run to the flag. Let us run through the results here tonight for round number 18 of the ANZCAR Cup here on Performance E streaming. Taking the win tonight by, well, not many people's surprise. It is Andrew Dyson for DPR taking victory here tonight at Chicago. Toby Stent comes home in second. A very strong performance for him tonight. Speaking of strong performances, Lachlan Urquio makes it home in third. Another podium for Lockie in the Cup. It's been a very strong year so far, and this is going to help extend his lead up the front on points in the points championship at least. Matty Ray brings another SRM car home in 4th position. Great night for the team. Craig Roffey has a really strong night in the Cup, coming home in 5th position tonight in the 300 for Rogue Sim Sports. Jai Schultz comes home in 7th position for Inside Lane Sim Sports, with Dave Douglas bringing the casting couch home in 8th. Tristan Koch had a very good evening as he comes home. I missed somebody out there. Neil Pearson comes home in 6th, with Jai Schultz in 7th. Dave Douglas in 8th. Tristan Koch comes home inside the top 10 in 9th, with Christopher Tomlin starting in pit lane and brings it home in 10th. Great night for him. P11 is Brenton Henderson for SRM, bringing it home in 11th. A nice run for Brenton tonight, keeps it in a solid position. Brad Fenley in 12th, 13th for Kobe Jordan. Joshua Carroll-Walden 14th, 15th for Ryan Jones, unfortunately with some instant damage. Riley Curtis in 16th, 17th for Ruben Phelps, out with a connection failure. Daryl Hockey 18th, Stevie Dove out early doors with Daniel Hederscheid in 20th. So let us grab up some of those drivers, and we're going to start off with our third place man tonight for SRM. It's Mr. Lachlan Oakfield. Lockie, welcome back to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a solid P3 here tonight at Chicago.
It's awfully nice to be back on the podium, Carl. I have to agree. Like that was a good race in the end. A little bit disappointed I couldn't hold on to P2, but hey, good points either way.
No, absolutely. Look, we tried to put as many curses on you as possible, but you still kept it on the podium tonight. So great job indeed. It sort of was looking good for second there, but Toby just had the pace at the end by the looks of things.
He had some voodoo magic with the petrol or the fuel or something. I was really, really tight on fuel for most of the race. So towards the end, when he started to catch me, I was really, really saving a lot. So props to him. He's a bit better at the road courses than I am, so I'm happily pick up the scraps and take P3.
No, absolutely. And look, we saw you having a really solid run out there. You kept some really good pace throughout the race, but just a couple of moments where you're a bit too close to the wall.
Yeah, but it wasn't too bad. Like the car, even though I scraped it and bent it a few times, it wasn't actually that much slower. So they didn't lose any pace. It was just about a bit of awkward moments. Yeah.
Gives you something to do in the week. Gives you something to polish in the week and fix up at least.
Yeah, look, this is a very, very unique kind of racetrack. I don't think much of this will apply to the rest of the calendar, but it's definitely nice to turn around and say I was on the first podium at Chicago Street Race.
Oh, absolutely, a solid job. And look, as you said, solid points haul as well. We know you are leading the points championship at the moment. If it was a regular season, you'd be very happy with that, of course. But it's still good news, as it could well secure you a spot in the playoffs at the end of the season. And currently sitting at the top of that group must be good.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a nice feeling. I guess you can go into the race with no pressure. Like I'm going into each race going, if I finish, I finish. I know I've got a big cushion there. I think if you were to add up all the total points from everyone, I think I'd be about third in a classic season. But either way, like I'm really happy with it. It's just a really nice feeling to be able to go into the races with no pressure and just enjoy it. And I'm really having fun with my racing at the moment.
All right, that's great to hear. Look, congratulations tonight for P3 and congratulations to the team as well. A strong showing for SRM tonight. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love for shout-outs. Go for it, Lockie.
First of all, I'll shout out the teammates there. Ruben was having a great run, but he got glitched a bit with iRacing when he ran out of fuel in the pit lane. Matty Ray, great drive up to P5 there. Another top 5 for him. He's really starting to build a points gap as well. Brenton is absolutely coming leaps and bounds on the road courses. I think he got P11 tonight, which is a massive result for him on the road courses, considering where he was at the first one. And then I suppose we'll talk about the sponsors too. Mobile Brakes Mechanical for sticking their logos on the bonnet and making us look awesome out there, helping out the team. Made of Auckland have been supporting us a lot lately. And on top of that, we got Mitre 10 Murphys. We got Moondog as well, looking after us on the merch side of things. I think there's a couple more on there. Maddie's going to be so mad at me. He's told me to know these ones.
10.
Yes, and then the other one was the 2 charities we got there.
Yep.
We got AAAF, the Alopecia Foundation, doing some great work out there. And then we got TS Australia, doing awesome job with all those young blokes with TS.
Absolutely. Look, congratulations tonight, Lockie. I mean, it was a long, tiring race, so you can be excused for getting a couple of little moments there. Congratulations for tonight, and well done on being being on the podium for the first time out here at Chicago.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for the broadcast.
Lachlan out there for SRM, bringing it home in third. Next up for Natari, we are going to bring up the man that started down the back of the field for being slightly naughty last time out, but tonight he made up for it by being extra good and making it to P2. It is Toby Stent. Toby, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 here tonight at Chicago.
Hey, yeah, I'm as surprised as you are. I wasn't naughty last week, thank you. It was a little bit of a racing deal, but someone has to get the blame, and I suppose I was at 1% more, so I'll take it. And yeah, I didn't expect to be anywhere near the front. Obviously, I did qualifying and was P3, and I was like, damn it, that sucks. Like, I obviously can't run with DPR, but like, I'd be able to have some racing up the front. So I was a bit gutted about that, and then yeah, just kind of took it easy and took my time at the start, and then sort of it got a bit busy, and I had to make moves. I made a few good moves, had some really good racing with Matty Ray. That was really hard, fair battles, a bit of door banging and stuff. That was cool. And then I had to pit lap 24, and it's a 50-lap race. So that maths doesn't work. So the whole end of the whole last stint I was saving. And I took into consideration what Daiso and Pearson told me the other week, if you remember. And that really helped. So I managed to slowly catch Lachlan and save enough fuel to have like one attack lap, and I did one real fast lap. I got right to his bumper and he made a mistake, and then got past him, and then went back to fuel saving after pushing and forgot my brake marker and locked the rears into one, and I don't know, I didn't die there, but yeah, that was intense. But it was cool. No, it was good, and I thought it was going to be an absolute mess at the start of the race, and everyone drove really awesome, and people were fair, and there was good hard racing. So that was a cool race, and everyone did an awesome job. That was really fun.
Absolutely. Well, at the start of the race, we saw yourself and Ryan Jones make your way through the field pretty quickly on the start. After I think everybody was a little bit cautious into the first corner, which we're kind of expecting, because we sort of, I think everybody was expecting the mother of all pile-ups there, but everybody made it through clean.
Yeah, well, on the warm-up lap, I asked Ryan if he wanted to go in front of me because he's a lot more aggressive than me, and he's like, yeah, okay, that's probably fair. So I let him through, and then I thought I'd just follow him for a bit, and then yeah, we kind of just picked our way through. I mean, we obviously were a little bit faster, I suppose, right? So it kind of it wasn't too hard, and no one was like doing silly things, right? Which is good. And then yeah, he made a little mistake. I think he was battling with, I can't remember now, Matty Ray maybe, or so he kind of got under him and passed him, and then yeah, sort of undercut Matty, or yeah, it would have been undercut, and then yeah, had to save fuel, and I thought I was screwed, and I wouldn't get Lachlan, and Matty Ray was just sort of hanging there. I was like, man, this is really hard. Like, I'm trying to do what Daiso and Pearson taught me how to do, and I'm like, bloody hard, and yeah, but it worked out in the end, so that's cool, and yeah, almost threw it away there, but I mean, I hope you didn't catch it on the stream. I managed to
it's all right, we caught it.
Yeah, I figured you would. But yeah. So no, that's cool. It was cool.
I was going to say, if not, we can go back and find it for you.
Yeah, no, leave that. It wasn't my finest moment. I'm glad it didn't end up wrapping me and Lachlan up, because it would have sucked if we both had ended up in the fence there from me being a silly bugger. But yeah, when you're lifting at the, I don't know, whatever it was, just after the start-finish line, not even pulling fifth on the start-finish line, and then you do a flat-out lap, and then you go back to lift and coast, and you like lift off and roll, and then it's like, ooh, I was supposed to brake about 10 meters before that and jam the brakes and lock up. So no, it was all good. We got there in the end, and yeah, like I said, it was really cool, fair racing. If whatever, and raced hard and fair, and yeah, I was really impressed. It was good fun, and good job to everybody, and it was enjoyable. Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. Look, congratulations tonight, Toby. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love, the shout out, sponsors, people in general, go for it, mate.
Yep. Turbo Alpha Japan, Growth Odyssey, Fully Flawed. Obviously Natari. Shout out to Ed. Obviously missing him. It's a shame he's not here with us. And a big, big sad one out for Josh, because his internet cut out a couple laps from the end there. So he pushed on through that whole race, and then his internet cut out. So it sucks for him. But yeah, we'll be back next week and see how we go.
Absolutely. Look, hopefully better luck next time for Mr. JCW. But tonight, congratulations, Toby. Well done indeed on P2 here for the first time out here at Chicago.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. We'll hopefully talk to you soon.
To an extent there for Natari. And finally tonight, we are going to be bringing up the man that, well, I mean, if you betted against him, you'd be a bit unwise. But he had a stunning performance here at Chicago, fastest lap, pole position, and taking victory. I think he led every single lap, as well as Mr. Andrew Dyson. Dyso, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a very solid result here at a very tricky track that is Chicago.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it is a tricky track. It's probably one of my favourites, though, so I enjoy it.
Oh, have you done much running here?
Not on the new one that they just brought out like last week. So done a few laps probably earlier in the week, but I've mostly been running some open setup testing stuff. So it was a bit different tonight with the fixed setup. Though I have to say the fixed setup was actually not too bad at all, surprisingly. But yeah, I missed the old track. The old track had some nice little parts about it that were kind of really dangerous and a lot of fun. But yeah, this one's not too bad either. I like it still.
Well, you could see you liked it. You absolutely looked on pace tonight. I think you had one tiny little scratch to the front. I think that's the only thing I noticed on the car.
Well, yeah, the car's pretty resilient because I rub the fence a lot. Like, yeah, you just get the squeaky fence noises kind of all the time, like when you're on the brakes going into a corner, or you just clip it kind of going through. So, but yeah, the car pops out a lot because it's got that composite sort of body panels now that they've simulated. So, yeah, it's good.
No, absolutely. And well, we saw you're probably you had too tight on fuel. I think you made it to just over the start finish line, but you absolutely timed it to perfection on the fuel run tonight.
Yeah, I saved a little bit. I made sure I had a bit in there. I kind of went down the back streets, seeing what I saw where I went, but I kind of went down the back streets where they scanned, but they didn't use, and done some burnouts in there, and then roll myself back into the track again. So maybe you didn't see where I went, but
Oh, you
yeah, I had a
disappeared
little
off of our screen. That's because I
yeah,
thought
that's
you'd
probably
have.
why.
Yeah,
Probably why.
that's a shame. You see, this is the trouble with Chicago. If you head out into the back streets, you're no longer safe. So you almost got mugged. That's what we'll say.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Well, the bulletproof glass is installed, so we're good to go.
Look, again, it was a really strong run tonight for yourself. We know you're quick on the road courses and the street circuits and the ovals and anything you put your mind to. But you said tonight was one of your favourites. Is it because it's a really sort of technical track with the braking? You've got to be really confident on the brakes, things like that, or is it something else?
Oh man, I think it's just maximizing the amount of track you got to use. Like you really got to get close to the inside walls and start turning into the corner from basically with your car like on the fence, and then use it all up all the way out to the exit fence, and then yeah, like there's other few spots where you just kind of got to keep it smooth and back it up a little bit, not really hustle it too much, like around the carousel sort of thing, like around the fountain or whatever it is. Kind of just back it up a little bit and don't try too hard, and just keep yourself under control and nice and smooth, and you'll be fast. Yeah, I like all that sort of stuff. It's fun, but I've kind of had some success here in a couple other leagues, so that kind of helps as well. It just when you do well somewhere, it's like, oh, I like this track.
Look, it's always dangerous when you like a place because that means you're going to be quick. And tonight was no different. Congratulations tonight, Dice. So before I let you go, though, the usual, the love, the shout outs, the sponsors, people in general, go for it. You've deserved it, mate.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out for a race. Everyone for organising the whole thing. Tough track, so good to see everyone suck it out. And yeah, just quick ons to Simrigs, South Wales, Ben Max, and yeah, we're looking forward to next week now, I suppose.
Absolutely. Congratulations tonight, Dice. So I am sure we'll see you back in the booth in the near future, but well done on victory here tonight for the first round of the ANZCAR Cup here at Chicago.
Thanks, guys.
Well, we heard it from the man himself. He likes this track, and well, he proved it, didn't he? He was absolutely unstoppable out there tonight, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. A great showing of some road racing skills there by Dyso. But can't take it away from the rest of the field either, Carl. Everyone really did a great job there tonight. As we've seen, some great door-to-door racing, right for the whole race. And it just goes to prove that you can't judge a book by its cover, because we all thought this was going to be a strung-out race, and it turned out to be probably one of the best street courses we've seen so far.
I reckon that is going to be one of the best road course races / street course races we've had in the Cup this year. And it's been a great year for the road course action. We had, of course, Kota earlier in the year with the Xfinity cars. That brought us one of the greatest races we've ever had the luxury of calling. But tonight we had some fantastic action here over the railway tracks of Chicago. Really, really good stuff to see. And it's great to see the rest of the field really, really improving on these tracks. Everybody is getting better, race in, race out. Fantastic stuff to see. Well, we are done and dusted here tonight, but we will be back to some more normal action next time out for the Cup. But we have, of course, action coming up on the weekend. We will be having the Weekend Warriors out, Mark, over on Checkered Flag e-streaming.
Yeah, New Hampshire this week. So it's going to be a little bit of a testing track for the guys. 400 mile there, so it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top there.
Absolutely, a very tricky short track that can really throw things up. We had the Xfinity there this week, of course, and that was a slightly trickier track for quite a few people, the New Hampshire track. Of course, we have got more action coming up here on Performance e-streaming, of course, with the My Private Sellers Australasian Supercar e-series on Sunday night, and that will be from, wait for that to give me a little bit of prompt.
Kentucky.
Kentucky, wonderful, thank you. So off to Kentucky, a very fun track where you should see some real good drafting action for Sunday night. If you've not checked out the V8s on the ovals, make sure to head on over for the Australasian Supercar E-Series or check out some of the replays on the channel as well. Speaking of replays, we've got replays going up of some of the action during the weeks as well, but also some prior years action as well, all done by Mr. Matty Hunter. Really, really very thankful for that. Matt Hunter doing excellent work as always and bringing us lots of stuff on the channel. I know you've been working furiously with that one, Matt, so a big thank you for all of your hard work on that stuff, which is also covering some of the truck and the Xfinity races this season. Off to Talladega for the trucks on Monday night, and in the Xfinity, it will be going to Pocono, the Tricky Triangle, and then we will be back here with more Cup action. We are going off to Atlanta. Not everybody's favorite track, the New Atlanta. I must say it's one of mine, but we should see some great action at Atlanta Motor Speedway next Thursday night, 6th of July. So we hope you can join us all for that one. But for tonight, from myself, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you, Mr. Mark Johansson, of course, Matthew Hunter, we are going to wish you a good night and we will see you back here soon.